Comics Tribunal. I'm Michael McGovern. This is Andy Bernier. We're doing Avengers Disassembled. This is Avengers 501 Chaos, Part 2.
Hey, I know all of the characters that are on this cover. Also, this is a very dynamic cover. We've got Captain America up front looking angry. We've got, it's pretty cool. It's pretty strong. Also, there seems to be this orange fiery glow behind everyone, which is something that happened a lot in that first issue. Everything was just orange and glowy. So kind of cool. Not much about story. It seems just a whole bunch of heroes in a heroic pose.
It is totally generic. You could put this on any cover. It wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, it's like a random Avengers poster where they're like, come up with a bunch of big pictures and we can slap them on covers. It looks very nice. It doesn't have much to say about the story necessarily, except for the shattered A in the back. That's nice text work. Looks like the Avengers symbol is shattered right behind Scarlet Witch. So that's okay, but the rest, yeah, it's fun. It's a nice cover. It's
gonna look great on a T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I would have it. I'd have it on a poster in my wall, my bachelor pad, where I never had a girl over. I would have it. I would have that definitely. Oh, let me talk about this for just a minute, because this is the page where they do a previously on. Okay. Whoever came up with this, maybe Joe Quesada, who is the new editor-in-chief right around that time. I don't know who came up with it, but it's brilliant because the comics that I loved when I was a kid, 80s, comics that you're reading, the first 4 or 5 pages of every one of those comics were characters talking to each other in exposition, trying to explain what already happened. And it is horrible. It was, going back and reading those comics now, it's unreadable how many word balloons are simply devoted to talking about previously on, and that's it. So having this page where they just take a few paragraphs and say, blam, there it is, lets you dive into the story, it is the best possible way to bridge the gap between issues, and I cannot praise it enough.
I think it's great too. Coming from someone who doesn't know anything about the comics, this was a really great way for me to be put into, okay, I know what's going on, and I feel like I know what's going to be happening. They talk about Iron Man being across town. Okay, cool. But this was a great way to do that. Hey, very naked like Iron Man. This was interesting to me because I had no clue what was going on until you realize that this is him in his suit. And so this was a way for you as the viewer to see all the stuff that he sees and everything else in his suit without that. But I was very confused until I saw this zoom out of, okay, this is Iron Man getting stuff done. That makes sense.
And it's a good job, too, I talked a little bit last issue about, something has to make sense in the moment, like it has to serve the story in the moment, and it also has to serve the larger narrative. It has to have those two functions. This is a good example of, I had the same experience where I'm looking at that first page and I'm like, okay, he's in his underwear staring at a bunch of screens. That's like, this is just odd how it's done. It was a little bit confusing. Then you see the next page and it's fine. This is a good example of, it's okay to be confused for a moment, as long as you're still within the flow of the story, which you are, because the dialogue is relatively clear, propelling you. You're just confused about the visual, but then it's answered immediately. It's not like it's some big mystery, which it doesn't need to be. It was a great idea. It's okay to be confused for a panel or two about exactly what's going on, as long as you answer what it is, preferably on the next page. It's very well done. It's a lot of heads-up displays. He's a little information overload, but he's a super genius. He can handle it.
It also shows just how vulnerable he is inside his suit.
Yeah, that's right. It's a great job of doing that, and he is. That's one of his things, and especially here, he's totally vulnerable because he's being messed with in a way that he can't comprehend, and he can't really fight either. It doesn't matter how much armor he has. It doesn't matter. You all have all the heads-up displays you want. They're not going to give you the answer that you need. And these 2 pages accomplish a heck of a lot, while really providing, very little. Well done.
Yeah, very nice. Holy cow, she's totally hulking out. I like how this artist, hey, if you're hulking out, your teeth are going to get big. She's got the biggest, whitest teeth ever because she's very, very angry.
Calcium. Deep, gamma radiation and calcium. We need to go ahead. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend, being hit with a gamma bomb or, getting a blood transfusion from your cousin who's been exposed to a gamma bomb. So well done. Actually, on that last page, we did also talk last issue about how Captain Britain was like barely not there. We kind of forgot she was there, as did Hulk. She's hitting Hulk. We don't even notice her. She's having precisely 0 effect and doesn't show up in the following panels. So
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Did you even see her there?
She has a good agent to get her in this comic to begin with.
She was really excited when she found out she was going to be, I'm going to be an Avenger? Yeah, kind of. yeah, it'll be in the roll call. That's true.
And she's got a sword. Like, that's it. All right, good to know. Yeah, she's just getting bigger. What's great is we also reviewing She-Hulk comics too coming up, and this really got me to. I wanted to know more about her because at this point I didn't realize She-Hulk could get to that Hulk status. So this was kind of a cool. This is a cool thing for me to see her really.
And it happens very rarely too. It's not really. She usually is under pretty total control in most of them. It's only occasionally, but yeah, when she does, she goes for it. It is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Man, huge. And then Iron Man just takes her down. Hey, look at this guy showing up.
Hank Pym, the most problematic and complicated character maybe in Avengers history. And I had always thought that he could only grow like 10, 15 stories, but here he is with his head almost scraping the moon. I mean, it's cool. I do like the visual, and I understand if you're going to draw a giant dude, you want to really draw him giant. But yeah, I've never seen Giant Man look this tall in relationships. Like, I'm just counting the stories on the buildings beneath him, and he's a lot bigger than I kind of had ever seen him before. And how is he walking anywhere without crushing everybody and everything? I don't want to get too deep into it, but he's really big there.
Totally agree. This brings up something I wanted to talk about with the art. I feel like I'm really liking this artist. He clearly can do a lot of stuff, does complicated things, and all of his characters' faces look squinty and a little bit kind of the same. They kind of look the same. I mean, here's Captain America and the Falcon. Is that who that is?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Or just another Captain America with different color hair. They really look very identical. Same chins, same everything. I don't know. I feel like they could look a little bit more like separate people.
There was a thing in the 90s, a lot of the Marvel artists that later went on to form Image Comics, which are great. I hope we get to review some of those and dissect some of those later. Not the 90s ones. I can't do that. I can't do Wildcats. But there's an artist named Jim Lee who stylistically is very similar to Finch, and I'm wondering, what happened a lot in the 90s was they asked a lot of other artists to sort of look, can you draw like Jim Lee? Can you draw like Todd McFarlane? Can you draw like, God help us, Rob Liefeld? And there's I see a lot of Lee in this stylistically. Now, I happen to like Jim Lee's style in general, and I tend to like Finch's style in general, but the problem with falling that deep into a style tends to be, I agree with you, they look a little too much alike. And all of them. They're that very squinty, same kind of looks. And Captain America, I mean, I know he's supposed to look concerned on that last panel, but he just looks rock stupid. He just looks so dumb. Like, I picture him talking like Stallone in that last panel. It's a little painful to watch for Cap.
So this artist does a great job of being expressive with the motion of the body, especially when it comes to action scenes and everything like that. Yeah. And that's where the expression happens. You clearly see that when it comes to facial expressions, probably not as strong. In a superhero comic, that tends to be all you need, though. The outside body shots, they're all in costume, so you know who is who when they are in costume. But as soon as they take them off, it's just very, very different looking.
Yeah, when you're dealing with Iron Man, when you're dealing with Spider-Man, he's got a full face mask. You know, you have to have him be able to look expressive just with his body motions. But it's not good enough here, I think. I agree with you.
This was touching. I loved this little scene of the Wasp getting hurt, but from that explosion. So you see her hanging out, very tiny still. She didn't get back to her regular size. How she's glowing, the lighting that they have on her. Angelic almost, she seems dead, and just the emotion that he has. Beautiful when it came to, I thought, writing and visuals. I thought this was great.
I couldn't agree more. It's the most impactful emotional beat of this comic, and last comic too, where you had 3 Avengers die. I kind of lost count. 3? I think 3. We're on the brink of 4. This is the first time where I had a moment of just like, whoa, this is serious, because it's the first moment where they have a second to think. Like, this is why these dramatic beats are important. Why you don't necessarily want to have things slow down. They don't have to come to a halt or anything like that. But you want to have beats in your story where you have moments where people can count the cost and see and just kind of like, this is what we're losing, or this is what we're about to lose. This is why it matters to me. This is why it's important. And they visually do a great job, and story-wise too. It's just 1 page, but it's really effective.
2 pages. there were 2. But yes, very.
Oh, forget it. It's junk.
Dang it.
2 pages. Put it together. No, it's still very effective. I like it a bunch.
So this very purple space where they were. Did anything happen here? I feel like nothing happened here.
Okay, I actually like this, and there's the one thing that happened character-wise was this right here, where Tony's saying, "I wasn't drunk." Now this is a long-time alcoholic. He's got problems that everybody in the Marvel universe basically knows about. If you go to that other page where the 3 of them are talking about their reactions to it, I thought it was quiet. It was telling. No, it's the top where the top 3 and they're saying, "I believe you."
Okay, that's this one.
I think the following one. Yeah, this is it right here. This is just like they're all thinking about it, and then it's, I believe you. Like Man says that I believe you, and Hawkeye's like, well, those 3 are really wonderfully telling to me, because it says a lot about all 3 characters. It says a lot about Captain America. Like, I know you. Captain America, if I had to have one overriding thing about him, it's faith. Like, he has faith in people, and he has faith in the ability of people, especially to get a second chance and run with it and do everything that they need to do with it. And then Falcon's reaction is really good too. Like, he clearly doesn't believe him. He's like, no, I think you got drunk. But Captain America says it, he's the king of character judgments. He says that he believes you, then I believe you, done. What I like about this is it's the X-Files treatment, okay? This is, Mulder being right about aliens 100 times in a row, and on the 101st time when he looks at Scully and he says aliens, and she goes like, really, Mulder? Like, that drives everyone crazy, because he's been right 100 times in a row. At some point Scully has to be like, you know what, benefit of the doubt, okay, it's aliens, let's go from there. This is what Falcon's been with Cap for all these times. Cap has vouched for people all these times. He's right. He's right almost every time. And guess what? He's right this time. He's right to believe him. So I loved that little beat of we've got hundreds of issues behind us. We've built up trusts, and therefore I'm going with it. And it worked for me for Hawkeye too, because he had a horribly damaged childhood. His dad was a raging alcoholic who beat him and his brother. And it was awful. He has suffered, so he wants to talk it out a little bit. He wants to work it out. All those 3 character beats made a lot of sense to me, and enjoyed it.
Great. So Iron Man flies away. He's very upset, and everybody goes back to the mansion, and we have a beautiful to be continued screen where we see all of these Avengers hanging out by the mansion. There's a lot of funny things happening on here, I think, anyway. First of all, I think it's great when I see a whole bunch of superheroes just standing around, especially ones that know how to fly. I watched a cartoon. It was a Justice League cartoon a long time ago, and everybody was running down the hall, and Superman was floating down the hall. And I thought to myself, well, that's what I would do if I were Superman, but it seems like a lazy animation thing. Like, they didn't want to make the legs move, so just the cape flowing will be the thing. So seeing all these superheroes just standing It seems I would have tried to get some, different height things going. They have Spider-Man hanging out in the corner there, but other than that, it's really interesting. It's an interesting.
Yeah, I love big assemblies of superheroes in the same panel. There's an artist named George Perez who did it as well or better than anybody. Just could pack 100 people in, and somehow it all made visual sense. With Finch, yeah, they're all kind of on the same plane, and there's 100 of them, and they're all the same height, and there's people who could just, like there's Captain Marvel, she can turn herself into light. I mean, she can just go up anywhere. Spider-Woman is in the back row. She clearly cannot see through Thing, who's huge and in front of her. She could just climb up to the top of the wall. There's people, and the one part about this, like, they just left this other place that they're all talking. Who left? Like, Falcon went on ahead, right? And like, hey, all right, I'll fly on my own because I can fly and you chumps can't. Hawkeye and Captain America took the Quinjet. Why is Falcon in the back? Like, he's meeting them there. That's not fair. He is literally meeting them. And Daredevil doesn't have to be anywhere near the front. He has super hearing. He can hear anything. He could be on the other side of the wall and know what was going on.
I thought the same thing about Daredevil. And so do the other superheroes know that he's blind, or is it just? I mean, because you'd assume that as a superhero, maybe they just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's so-so. I'm not sure that they know. Some know and some don't is my suspicion. And it is weird, kind of odd that there's so many heroes here who, like, there's the other Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. She's also behind Thing. She's the blonde, way, way, way in the back behind Thing and Hercules. Like, she was a bedrock member of the Avengers for a long time. And yet, like, towards the front, here's Moon Knight, who is maybe an Avenger for 5 minutes, like, holding his cape dramatically. Like, dude, why are you here? Why isn't Carol Danvers up front? The placement of the people is frankly bizarre. But it doesn't matter. I love it. Put a bunch of superheroes together, and I'm in.
Now tell me, do you see Captain Britain? Because I don't think I see
the aforementioned her agent really failed her in this shot in a major way, because no, I don't, and she's supposed to be part of the team. Well, wait, did she get hurt? She got hurt, maybe.
No, the last thing we saw was that she attacked She-Hulk.
She's got it rough, man.
Yeah.
She's got to change it. She got to whatever she needs. She needs better press, clearly.
Cover treatment.
Maybe she's on the other side of the wall where Daredevil was. Do you think? Excuse me. Maybe she's just too polite. She's British.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, final. That's the final page of this one. So we will be coming back with the next issue. So be sure to check out the next issue. Also check out other comics that we are going to be reviewing as well on this page. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like it. All right.
And comments. Lots of nice, helpful, constructive criticism comments.
I love YouTube comments.
Just like YouTube always does. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next time.